Welcome back to Marvel Maniac, an MCU after show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, back with you for Daredevil Born Again, Episode 9, the finale, Straight to Hell. I have to say, I'm giving you an instant reaction. This was a brutal, unhinged, and very emotionally chaotic. And it's probably, if I gotta say, even though the Punisher has existed and is now canon, I gotta say, it's one of the most, the Commissioner thing was like the most brutal thing not only have I seen in the MCU, it was close to maybe being the most brutal thing I've seen ever. Like, and I grew up on the movie Goodfellas, and that was a disturbing way to end the show. The show ended, the whole season ended like on that, like, oh, it kind of gave everyone, like how everyone in the room kind of paused, right? And like there's this moment, and it resonated with the audience. There's this moment, like the whole tone just shifts, and you see Fisk's crazy eyes with the blood on his hand, and oh my goodness, we let this happen. How did this happen? And it's one of those situations. And geez, I'm still kind of reeling over that. I'm disturbed. I'm actually disturbed by that scene. Like, there are horror movies that don't go there, and I might not be much of a horror movie fan, so there might be people listening who be like, come on, man, it wasn't that crazy. But I don't know. I was like, he looks like he's crushing his head in. Pedro Pascal, you know, he started his career by having that done to him on Game of Thrones. He probably was in a few other things before that, but I swear he got really popular off of Game of Thrones, and the way he died in that show, very similar to the Commissioner. But I'll give you a grave difference. That was in a medieval mythical setting, in a world that has dragons and ice and different all sorts of stuff. This was in New York City. This was the Commissioner of Police, and Fisk is completely militarized. Is that a word? Everything. Vanessa is a mastermind, and Fisk is a monster. And Matt is finally Daredevil again. And Punisher, oh my God, forget about it. Daredevil is back. Daredevil is born again. It's kind of like, okay, it reminds me of Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. We'll see. When's the exact moment he broke bad? When's the exact moment he became Saul from Jimmy? When's the moment that Daredevil was born again? All the same answer across the series of time you just watched over 9 episodes. It's not just one moment. It's a many moment combined. And oh my goodness, I listened to my last episode, right? I gotta actually reverse a little bit and let you know that I left out the part where Matt was talking to Vanessa and he was threatening her, implicating her in Foggy's murder and figuring all that out. And the part where Fisk was talking to Matt under his breath so nobody can hear him but Matt, that is true supervillain shit right there. And all the same, Matt goes and saves his ass. And oh my goodness, this episode, going into this episode, I had no idea where we were. And you know, I could say I want him in the suit a million times, like I have. I acknowledge this. In my last episode, I must have said, get in the suit, like 100 million times. I think we all kind of want that, but I don't need to keep saying it that much. Ironically, I'm talking about it right now. I am going to really miss this show weekly. It's going to leave a very vacant hole. I think we're going to have to do episodes like in this exact same time slots to just, put me in the waiting room for the next season that they already filming. I'm not going to spoil anything. I've seen some things, and I also have seen some things from Avengers Doomsday. You can kind of see how Daredevil is an outlying factor already because he's not going to be in Doomsday. See how many people are going to be in Doomsday. He is wrestling with New York, and there was a small part of me at one point in this episode where I said, Spider-Man could show up. Spider-Man could technically show up. If this were a comic book, he'd have to. But we can't afford a Tom Holland cameo on a Disney Plus show. And I'm not going to be ungrateful for having Tom Holland in the MCU. I'm just grateful we got him at all. I don't want to put any bad juju out in the world, you know. But no Spidey. And that's probably for the better, except when the power goes out like that. And, Spider-Man's so, like, in tune to things that are happening. Knowing he's out there actually doing Spider-Man stuff, it does bother me, like, a tiny little bit. But, like, what are they going to do, So this was the longest episode, I believe, of the series so far. And we start with a flashback. And the fact that I forgot about that shows the amount of things that happened in this episode. Vanessa, she visits Bullseye, and it's a 1 year ago flashback. So right around when Foggy died, she orders the hit on Foggy and his client, the guy who was on the phone. And she says actual Wilson Fisk isn't involved. It's just her. And she hasn't seen her husband in a long time, which goes to show why she found love. And we all know how that turned out last week. Bullseye signs the papers. She gets him out. And she even lets him know, you're the best at this. She is a psychopath, this woman. She is so innocent maybe in that first season. Even going up to season 3, she does get corrupted by the evil of Fisk. And, looking back at season 1 now, she really was just quiet to what Fisk was doing. And I bet you if I look closer to season 1, she probably would have some proud moments being by his side. And I actually, I just want to go back and watch them all again. But I know that's going to be next year. Next year I'll do all that. There was no Foggy resurrection. Nobody found Foggy in witness protection. It could have been a cliffhanger. It could have been an after credits, and it didn't. Gives me more of a 75% sure that Foggy is actually dead. Because when Karen and Matt were talking about it, they were bonding over it. And it was a big moment. That would have been the moment to bring him back. Unless they really want to save it for season 2. I just don't think so, though. If people have to stay dead, Iron Man comes ripping through the multiverse as Dr. Doom. But, well, look, that's a different story. We still got to stay. We got to stay on track here. But yeah, it was Vanessa all along, the Agatha all along thing never gets old. I'm not going to sing it. It was Vanessa all along. It's cheesy and I should have cut it, but I'm not. I'm trying to stay coherent here. I'm trying not to have too many cuts. I want to be a straight talker without too many ums. And I know the ums come out when I'm not noticing. I know this. I notice this because I'm listening back to make myself better, okay? So when I go or I'm like, Daredevil needs to get suited up a million times, I'm not aware that I'm saying it that many times, but it is a humbling realization. I might be being too hard on myself, plus I'm way off topic. So let's get back into the episode. So after that flashback, we get the opening beat. It picks up right where episode 8 left off, and Matt takes the bullet, and then we get the opening credits. I sat there and watched them all again. I skipped them once or twice, maybe, just because I wanted to get to the episode. But the fact that there's not going to be another episode for probably more than a year, I just watched it. I basked in it. I did rewind at times. My new motto is not to rewind, so I could stay into it and not overthink moments or stuff. And I definitely did that for this episode. This is a big episode. A lot happened. And so Matt wakes up in the hospital, and right away Heather's standing over him, and he thinks she's Karen. And that's just always a awkward type of thing to happen, Oh man, I like that. I like that though, because I'm kind of shipping them again. I've kind of let that go, but he got jealous of her and Frank Castle tonight. And I'm like, and I always wondered, what would Matt think about her meeting with Frank Castle in at least the first season of Punisher, which I haven't seen the second. Now I think I want to. Now maybe I should go back and do some of these episode by episodes Netflix shows like the Punisher. Maybe we could cover that. What do you think? MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. You let me know, and I will cover it. I'm still deciding the next show I'll cover. I got to look at the timeline and see if Thunderbolts is the final thing of this phase. I'm going to do a phase 5 after show. And yeah, lots of cool stuff coming up. But this show stands in its own realm. And it brought in more of the wider MCU. At least from New York City, there's a couple of the first guy I think of is Jack, and how he's in prison. I can't stop thinking about how he's in prison. People who go up against Fisk are now being put in underground prison cells. Fisk is evil, and they let the season end on that. Red Hook is just his laundering empire that stands outside of jurisdiction and law somehow. How did that happen? They must have been used by some gangsters or something back in the day. And you know what? Everything is working for Fisk. You think he's got a lot of problems, but I even said that Fisk is balancing a lot right now, and he balanced it plus then some. He became less afraid. He made his staff member rat out the commissioner, and then he was murdered like that in front of so many cops. Dude, Fisk, I gotta say, maybe he needed some more brutality under his belt just to give that giant supervillain Thanos even worse. Thanos wouldn't have done that. He might have. Actually, I take it back. Thanos has probably done something like that to someone. Who was he squeezing? Who was it? Well, I'm thinking of the part where Thanos is digging his Thor's axe into his own self, and he has that evil look on his face. It reminds you of Kingpin there. I totally see it, man. I think it's a great comparison. But this episode was necessary to make Kingpin that big bad. It wasn't Daredevil saves the city again. It was Daredevil born again. What's Daredevil being born again into? The hardest time for vigilantes in New York City of all time, and an ungrateful mayor who is a gangster, a kingpin, an a-hole, and he didn't even thank Matt or even feel any gratitude, nothing at all, when Matt saved his life. He didn't do anything. And there was nobody questioning the blind man who was able to take a bullet, and I'm okay with that because Matt doesn't need that on his plate right now. Fisk even went so far as to trying to have Matt killed and make it look like he took a bullet for the mayor and died doing. Come on, man, Fisk. I'm disappointed because they do a great job of letting you see the humanity in this guy, and especially this season, they did a bigger version of season. It's an original story, but I feel like they really needed to build Fisk up. And the first scene they do that in the original series is him slamming this guy, his head off with a car door. And that is insanely brutal. And even then, I'm like, this is supposed to be Marvel? I wasn't a little kid. I was in my 20s. I don't know. But, dude, he's always been brutal. We didn't see much of that this season. I'm going to say it again. Every time it pops in my head, I'm haunted by the commissioner's death. This is not for the lighthearted. That was the most disturbing death I've seen. And yes, I've watched The Walking Dead, but it's all about setting, okay? It's not that the people who die in the apocalypse shows aren't as important as the people in the universe of the MCU, or vice versa. It's just that we're really close to real life here, kind of. I mean, this is the MCU, but you know what I mean. I mean, and even in that episode with Ms. Marvel's dad, it goes to show that Disney wants the older audience to watch everything. Because why would they do that, throw out that odd cameo if they didn't want us to feel the importance of Miss Marvel? And in this moment, because of that, I think I'm going to cover her. I want to cover her episode by episode. I've seen it. You've seen it. We can break it down, talk about future things, see how it plays into the Marvels. And it's something we totally need to talk about. She's a big character, and she's clearly going to be taking the MCU, at least a part of it, in a direction, in an Avengers direction, like the Young Avengers. They're going to be more like their 20s Avengers by the time that happens. But I don't think it'll still feel young. It'll still feel fun. And I think they are building towards that. And who knows when that's going to happen. Yeah, so Sheila betraying the commissioner and her crying about it broke my heart. She's been such a loyal, she's been a loyal person to the government. She's always had that job. She's seen many different mayors come and go. And Fisk broke her in a way, the best way he could without imposing physical harm on him. And in all reality, I don't think he would impose physical harm on her or any women for that matter. But I mean, he's a good guy because he doesn't do things that nobody else shouldn't do. So, I try to stand up for Fisk, but he really became the baddie in this episode more than I could have thought. He took over. He won. That has to catch Spider-Man's attention, right? Fisk shuts off the power. to the hospital. There's this hospital escape moment. Frank Castle comes and saves freaking Daredevil, aka Matt. And he does a pretty good job of like running somewhere, getting his suit, and coming back to fight. Oh, you know what? This was at his house. It wasn't at the hospital. Two very dark settings. Matt made it home. Castle was waiting for him at home. Then all the guards show up and all the police officers. The task force got bigger. Even it gets bigger every week somehow. Like the task force is now an army of cops who all love the Punisher yet are locking him up. Very weird. But they not in a bad way. And like, oh, that's weird of them. They team up, Daredevil and Punisher, to fight these dirty cops. Punisher equals vicious. Matt equals precise. The condo equals blown up. It's a goner. I don't know where Matt's staying for now. I think he's got something going on with Karen though. So Karen and Red Hook discovery. Karen joins Matt and Frank together. She picks them up like an Uber, like at the exact right time. Pretty funny. Emotional Foggy talk at Josie's. That happened. That would have been the moment for him to walk out the back and return and tell his story. Even it's still on the table for next season. It'll be a big. I mean, if it's a twist they're going to do, it's going to be well explained through a flashback because they don't do many flashbacks, but they did one in this episode, so I know they could. And I think just even a longer overall mystery of what really went down with Foggy. Can be told if he didn't die. I think people just really want Foggy back. I mean, no one stays dead except for Uncle Ben, as they say. Well, I heard that from Screen Crush, and Ryan Airy tells me what they say. So as Matt and Karen are figuring out that there's this offshore status, like completely out of the bounds of New York City at Red Hook, they knew that was the place to go. And Punisher tries to go it alone. He kills many guards and he gets taken down by his admirers. Like he stares down like 15 dudes who are all wearing the same Punisher logo as him. And then he ends up like getting actually taken down, which you don't see often out of this guy. He always makes it out and he got taken down. So, post-credit scene, let's just talk about it. He is about to escape because he's the Punisher. And, there's rumors they talked about it. Punisher's getting like a movie on Disney Plus. It's going to be very gory, and it's probably going to be more gory than this because Punisher is nuts, and I can't believe Disney went there today. I just cannot believe they went there. But it really is Marvel. Disney has to approve things. I don't think it was their idea for the commissioner's head to be smushed. Oh my God. Does anyone else feel that traumatic like me? This is that finale. See, that's the type of shit that needs to happen in a finale to make you really remember and long for the show to come back. It's a scarring moment, reminding you of what Fisk is capable of and all the fallout from that moment. The guise of doom manifested across the city and Matt and Karen, they have a kindling. They come back together, so that's very good. So yeah, Fisk did that to the commissioner. It was a big build up to that, and also Sheila, this lady who can't be broken. She's the one who gave him up because he was going to go up and try and get Kingpin taken down. He was going to go to the governor's that morning, and she ratted him out because she didn't want to die because Fisk was telling them, we need to get everyone out who doesn't like me. And that either means kill them or let them go. That commissioner wasn't going to go lightly. So clearly he walked into a trap, and that help us feeling and seeing him, who you see as kind of like a noble police officer trying to do his job, watching the crime and, just this horrible situation unfolding, and he doesn't even have his police officers to back him up anymore. Like Fisk owns the force. I wonder, is he paying them more? Do the cops all just like, are there good cops? That's my question. Are there good cops in this show anymore? Are they all owned by Fisk in New York? That's crazy. Yeah, that was the most horrifying NCU kill ever. I'm going to say it again. Tell me yours, because I can't think of one. Fisk doubles down, declares vigilantes illegal, and enacts martial law. Points Heather to the Commissioner of Mental Health. I don't think Heather and Matt are getting along because Fisk is punishing Matt by hiring Heather. And now Heather doesn't even know Matt's Daredevil, but might find out next season. I got to be honest. If I had to say there's one character I don't like that much, it's Heather. Why? I'll tell you why. Last week when she was like, she's, she went through a traumatic experience, but she feels like she saved her own life because she shot the guy, but she doesn't remember the fact that Matt Murdock swooped in and saved her life. And she doesn't remember that. And I guess nobody's telling her that, but she knows Daredevil was there, but she still puts them in the same light. And I don't like that. I think that's kind of short-sighted thinking, unless she couldn't see it. How Daredevil actually is the reason she's really alive. Like, if I watched the episode again today, she would have died. She would have died. Oh no, you know what? I didn't watch it again today. I watched that episode today. Man, these shows go by fast. Clearly, I'm trying this thing in this episode where I don't go too off topic, and I try and not cut, and I want to go the whole way through with talking genuinely. But there's definitely been 15 times where I've stopped the recording and deleted a dumb thing that I said. I edit as I go. That's your honest fact of the week. So Fisk is full supervillain. He goes on live TV and just says, "Never forget, I love New York," and he lets everybody know about 8:00 curfew, and it's real bad. All the bad things can happen at night now when there's a curfew, and the corrupted people know who's allowed to roam the streets, and it seems like literally a DLC to the Spider-Man games that I'd love to play. Make some DLC. Let me play this, please. Karen and Matt, that's kind of a nice thing that they set up a little love story again. I did ship it, but it's been on and off, and they never really had the time to make it work. And she does accept him as Daredevil, so she's one of the few who knows his secrets. We didn't see Cherry this episode, Cherry, but I like him a lot. I think he's a good presence in Matt's life. This Red Hook thing is going to be a big part of either next season or the Defenders team up if they do that again. It's housing Frank. It's housing Jack. It's a prison. It's a base of operations, and they're renovating to make it look even more blend in. Fisk and Vanessa, they walk through their castle as king and queen in my eyes, and Bullseye is confirmed to still be alive. He's in the end montage. He's not going for anybody right now. I think he's just trying to lay low. Matt's final words after being told that he'll need an army. I think he said that actually. He said we're gonna need an army. We could take it back together. That's what he says. That's the last thing. Roll credits. Daredevil is born again. Then we get the post-credit scene with Frank Castle, where he rips a guy's arm off pretty much to get out of Fisk's prison. So I'm wondering if that's going to lead into his mini story / movie that's going to be released on Disney Plus in the near to late future. So what impact will this have on the MCU, and what predictions can we look forward to season 2? Fisk officially declaring war on heroes changes New York City in a huge way. I wonder if it'll be talked about in the Thunderbolts or referenced. I doubt it, because they never do that anymore. But I like that they do that. I hope they do something like that. Red Hook, the prison part, and all of it. It's not just a prison. It's one part of it's a prison, like the underground part. But it could totally become the hub for future street level arcs like Defenders and stuff. And the fact that Bullseye is alive, I want to say he can't go on he can't become an anti-hero. Bullseye. He's killed too many innocent people way too brutally. But yet they do bring people back like that. I stopped watching The Walking Dead, and I don't know how in the living hell Negan's a good guy now with Maggie. What? Do I have to go back and watch all that, or do I just leave it in the past? And then they split it off into 3 different series, as if that's going to get me to come back. I'm like, I just want one Walking Dead, and I never wanted Rick to leave. That's why I stopped watching. Okay. We jump into other multiverses sometimes, okay? And now we're back in the MCU. Frank Castle is officially back. It's another good takeaway. They really utilized him this episode. They used this episode to tell part of his story, which was kind of an interesting choice, having all that's going on with Matt. But we know what Matt's going through. We know what's in his head. We've been with him all season. So I think it's more of a payoff to have Daredevil and Punisher and Karen with him as the kind of team up of the episode. The biggest moment for them was that fight in the apartment where they were wrecking dudes and Punisher was killing guys. And when he was doing that, it was brutal. And Daredevil was like, stop. He was doing everything he could to not kill. Did any of you watch that 2003? Was it 2003 or 2005? The Daredevil movie reaction I had. I thought that was really funny. The movie aged okay. And you should go back and listen to it. It was a fun watch. I'd say watch it and listen. And yeah. Heather's rise to power. Now she's got like a major setup for corruption or redemption. She could be like the inside person feeding Matt what's going on inside Fisk's world, which is going to be way more guarded. It's an empire now, and people are in it whether they like it or not. Dangerous times. Matt's line about needing an army, it screams defenders. And it's time to rebuild. And yeah, it's pretty much the whole episode. I gotta say, this episode left me in a frenzy. A lot happened very quickly, and I think they could have done like one more episode with all the Frank Castle stuff spread across two, instead of like I feel like, but I don't feel like it was rushed. At the same time, I feel like it's actually where it needs to be. This is the only time I'm going to refer to Matt Murdock putting on a suit as Daredevil and my overall thoughts about that throughout the series. I definitely think he put it on enough. 2, yeah, he could have put it on more, which I think is they're setting it up for next season. A lot more in suit. But that's something that I sounded way more worried about than I actually was. I was just like, a little quip like, oh, when's he going to throw the suit back on? But, I got to say, I was aching for it a bit for a while. But this is a different type of superhero show. Well, I said all that. And this is its own thing. And to unravel Matt Murdock as a character like you can't do with any other superhero with just movies, it's one of the most beautiful things you can do. I mean, like, it's a superhero show with the depth of like an HBO drama. And it somehow maintains its lightheartedness through all the darkness. This was a good show. I loved it as a whole. That's why next week I'm going to be bringing to you your after show for Daredevil Born Again. I'm going to have a friend that come back, and we're going to talk about the show as a whole, its impacts, and what we thought about it. Just a little fun, quirky episode we're going to do for you. So it's not the end of Daredevil season just yet. And this Friday, be on the lookout. I can announce happily that I've covered the 2005 Fantastic Four. Yes, I compare a lot to what I think the new movie is going to be like, what it's going to take, what it's going to leave, what's good about it, all that good stuff. That comes out this Friday, 2 p.m. Central Time. I hope you enjoy that, because I had a lot of fun making it. I'm loving going through these older movies because I've said this a couple times. I'm going to say it again. The multiverse is everything Marvel's ever done, and they want to revisit. Like, you can peel open any former Marvel project and make it a part of the multiverse. That's what I'm getting. And I'm okay with that. Let's get it all out of the way so we can move on to the next saga and have more grounded but big stories still. I can't believe I'm telling you that. I mean, Infinity War is my favorite movie of all time, and I would love every Marvel movie to be like that. But character building, clearly a big deal. And if they bring back the Defenders, man, they better bring them back good. Give them a little different type of a rebrand. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for listening. It means the world. If you've been with me week to week, or you just found us this week, it always means a lot. Come back to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. It will be your home for after shows of Marvel Cinematic Universe content. And I liked how definitive I said that. And I want you to know that there's going to be no head smashing in this group. We aren't like Fisk Task Force. We are good people. We are maybe vigilantes. We're just a bunch of nerds on the internet. Let's be real. Any of those, all of you are welcome to come and hang out and vibe. Show it to your friends. Give us a rating. If you do a written rating, big deal. Thank you. I'll feature it on the show. Trying to get the podcast heard by as many ears as possible. I love doing this, and I want to keep doing it. And thank you for giving me a chance to do it. And thank you for listening. And I'll see you this Friday, 2 p.m. for the Fantastic Four. If you'd like to help or donate, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/MarvelManiac. Join our community. Once I get a few people in there, we're going to be doing weekly 5-minute mini-sodes. And you can give me even prompts for those if you like. Also, in the description of the episode, we have a tip jar. Any donation means everything and never expected, always appreciated. Thank you again for listening. And until next time, Avengers, disassemble.